okay. Yep. All right. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome this morning to more of my Soul Calibur 3 playthrough. This is on emulator. I'm unlocking a file for use, making these videos kind of as a tutorial of how to unlock the game, as well as planning to upload this file as a resource for others to use, possibly with emulator if they want to try speedrunning that way. So we're on Chronicle 13 now. A couple weeks back when I last did this, I made it through Chronicle 12, the first half of the game. So now we're on Chronicle 15. So now we're down to 4 characters. We've lost a large portion of our companions. Luckily we're using mostly custom characters, so it's not going to affect us much. Yeah, probably better this, so I can give out these a bit better. Okay, so Chronicle 13, of course. A year has passed. General Gerardo has risen up in rebellion.
Decisive battle.
And we are part of the, as the most famous and powerful general in the army, we're head of the Gerardo Task Force. Last kind of nonsense that happens.
Battle 2, fight!
Devastating. Who's even my 4th person? I don't even remember. Ah, Monk. Well, staff makes it. Maybe. Possible, at least. All right.
Decisive battle.
A little bit harder on emulator as well because I don't have access to the controller setup I prefer.
Battle 1.
I tried to get a my computer to work with this with a PS4 controller and ended up just messing up how it recognizes all of my controllers. Had to do a lot to fix that. All I've got is a Xbox One controller. Isn't really what I don't really enjoy the feel of it for my games here, but what can you do? What I have, what I was able to make work. Come on, Slowpoke. I talk about it sometimes during my speedruns because of the squares that they've divided the map into and how characters occupy them. And yay, the wonders of the AI. Certain attacks work really well until they don't. They decide to guard impact or dodge. Still works. I think that Nightmare's taunt is actually the longest of all of them. Which is why he has the opportunity to basically use both of his taunts at once. Both lines that he would use at once. That's going to be very interesting. 4 characters there. That's not usual, but it's because both of my characters... One of my characters was defeated. Hopefully, I should be able to take out all 4. We will see. Hopefully I can at least take out the Soul Calibur members and get the very important experience with that.
Battle 1. Fight!
That's why this is a pretty good technique. This attack does, it's a little bit slow, but it does a huge amount of damage to them except for the speed. Gives me back a huge amount of life. That's also, again, how weak dancers are. Here's the other side of it. Barbarians aren't super great. I badmouth them all the time, but they're definitely better than dancers. The main way I badmouth them, of course, is that they are, as weak as they are, they're not good for a final boss. Like, look at all that life I get back. Just an incredible amount. I definitely don't like this as much for a casual playthrough, but it definitely works for this unlocking quest. A little bit more reliable up to this point than the dancer.
Battle 1. Fight!
It's over. It's over.
Okay.
Please get out.
Final battle. Fight!
It's over. I'm sorry. It's over.
Punch. Come on. Emulator dropped some of my inputs too. I don't know if it's just an emulator thing or if this actually is because the particular control I've got or because of the emulator itself only. Either way, I'm very glad that I myself don't have to emulator. The normal hardware works so much better. Okay, so with that... gives her the opportunity to come up here to help out, so I should be able to take out all four of them with the two characters. Maxi.
Decisive battle. Battle 1. Fight.
Most of these guys should be generic except for Maxi.
Battle 2. Fight.
There we are. Kunai working the way Kunai is intended to work. I don't know if it's how they intended it for work, but it's how I intended it when I made my second character a ninja. Why am I blocking? Even if that wasn't an unblockable attack, I couldn't block it because they're all unblockable. There we go. I will follow you out.
You really want to do this?
Battle 4. Fight.
Kind of expected. Alright, Monk. Can you beat the much higher level Monk?
Final battle. Fight.
Not if I use the wrong move. Woo. That was close.
This really wasn't a fair contest.
Alright, getting up our experience, which is the most important part.
Decisive battle. Battle 1. Fight.
Come on. This is ridiculous. There we go.
Hey, over here! Hey, over here! Be careful from now on.
Biggest problem with, and the reason that I don't use this in a normal speedrun, is that it doesn't set up any... It's hard to follow up. It's a really good attack that does a lot of damage, but if the AI decides that they're going to be more defensive or work against it, there's not really much I can do. easy enough for them to sidestep. Sometimes the inconsistencies in the game's hitboxes make me take hits I should be sidestepping. Need that guy to come over too. He's just level 13 Rebel, but I'd still rather have his experience. Okay, Kay, you just stay there. Everybody else. And... guess my ninja's number 3, not number 2. How about that? Saint is number 2. And sticking to this weapon they started with. Once I start attacking the main stronghold, he will retreat to defend it. Like so. I'll wait till he shows up and starts attacking this stronghold, and then I'll beat him, send him to the end. I don't know if he'll make it in time, but we will see. Kind of interesting doing a casual playthrough using my speedrun strats, as it were, when I can.
Be careful from now on.
Ah, Kay survived all of those early deaths for so long, and now has a positive win-loss ratio. Heartwarming to see that my little boy is growing up.
Decisive battle.
Okay, now, I really have no experience using Soul Edge against a separate like this. It'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Fight.
As I kind of thought. There we go. That weapon sometimes causes guard impacts. He saw that she was blocking and then suddenly guard impacted when I hit it. That wasn't a frame perfect guard impact, that was actually the weapon doing it. Okay, phew.
I want to rethink this. This really wasn't a fair contest.
Alright, up to level 40. One of the ones that really bothers me about this is the more than 9 perfect victories, because I think that's a running tally rather than the amount we actually have to get in this Chronicle, because they're getting 9 perfect battles is really insane. There was barely 9 battles in the entire place, so. Not going to save the data because I've heard that the woes of the game with saves continue on emulator. I'm not going to save until I get it fully completed, I think, just to be safe. Let's go ahead and take a look at the shop and what we've got. What is Zara? Zara's a thief? I kind of thought that. Alright. Let's go to the shop and see what we can pick up in the way of weapons now.
Welcome to my store.
Don't need anything in armor.
Please come again. Hi there. You looking for something?
Okay.
Is this what you're looking for? You have a sharp eye.
just to have it in case I feel the need. I might be able to do one. Not that I really plan to use it actually right now during this unlocking, but okay, Rapier, Wave Sword, Sword and Shield, Chinese Blade. I'm not using any of these ones. Kana I sort of am, but not really right now, so nothing new there. Kunai, Life Stealing. That's the one I really want. Wow, I can already access the ultimate Dreadnought sword. Iron Sword can't get anything really great, though. Kunlun Bamboo. So yeah, there's no life-stealing staffs. This is it. Quarterstaff, the base one, the Dual Rod, which I've been using, and the Kunlun Bamboo, which causes guard breaks. At the very least, gives a lot of attack power. So it's nice to have the ultimate staff, I guess. Unfortunately, that's the one drawback with the staff and why I don't use it more like in the speedrun. Is not having any life gain whatsoever is definitely not safe or good, really. Okay.
Come again. Thanks a lot. Welcome. Are you looking for anything in particular?
Okay, I can unlock the Pirate and Assassin Chop classes now. Get my next custom character. So now I need to level up Gladiator, Pirate, Sage, and Assassin so I can unlock... specifically, Gladiator will unlock Knight, and Assassin will unlock Samurai.
Good speed to you. Please come
Which,
back.
in actuality, I'm going to be freezing the game at Chronicle 20 and playing that over and over. Okay, let's go ahead and equip you in the Kunlun Bamboo. Same with A. Zara is already up to level 20. I can hardly believe that. It's been several weeks, so I don't remember quite all that went on, but I'll actually go with this, yeah. Sure. This is totally outside of my, it's closer to what I did originally, but... That should not have hit me.
Be careful from now on.
Now I'm fighting the, big question I have in my heart if I want to make my monk a Soul of Keelik when I make level 30. I'd have to go and get the Keelik weapon style, of course, but I have to go get the ultimate weapon for that. It's not quite as thoroughly reliable as the basic quarterstaff style itself, but it is fairly reliable, and it has a much better ultimate weapon, one that also gives back life over time, so... And one that would be a little bit easier to use than the, considering my control scheme. The running moves are kind of difficult to use with, with the emulator and the controller I have to use. Ones that are a more simple press would be a lot easier to reliably do. Come on. There we go.
think this?
One problem is that since life gained back is based on actual damage dealt, not pseudo damage dealt, what I mean is you can't gain back that much life if the... Well, basically the last hit period does not gain back any life. Because the battle, your life bar freezes as soon as victory is declared. This is to prevent people from getting double ring outs kind of situation. And the life gain comes back essentially the frame after damage is dealt. So whatever hit kills the enemy does not give back life. Yeah, in the meantime, I guess I'll have you go get started on Taki. Bit dangerous. Have him even approach Taki, but the other two should get there before, I'm going to start by having them...
Battle 1. Fight.
Oh, I forgot to put the new weapon on her, too. She got a new weapon, even better than the Kunlun Bamboo. Forgot about that.
Battle 2. Fight.
Her life-draining one. Very important. Oh, jeez. Yep. Run with the hopping. Seriously. He's really gonna need the life drain now. He's about to die. Which is super embarrassing.
Final battle. Fight.
Kinda saw that coming.
Decisive battle. Battle 1. Fight. 3, 2, 1.
This is going to be annoying for 5 battles.
Battle 2. Fight.
Didn't get my timing right for that one.
3, 2.
The best thing about the Kunlun Bamboo, though, is that increased defense helps out a whole lot, especially combined with the high defense Saint. Means that I take very little damage from these low-level rebels. He's taking major advantage of the Quake, though.
Battle 4.
I mostly avoid Quake. It's rarely an issue except in the final AG fight in the speedrun. You can see why I hate it so much here. It's really hard to keep up this stun lock with the thing going, which is why I avoid it in the very first AG fight. Along with the ice. The ice is the far more important one, but in a big, prolonged battle, this is the... Okay, there we go.
You can't stop me.
At the very least, she did not lose she did not lose her own life. Yeah, I guess that's not even going to matter much. Plus he loses.
Final battle, fight!
That was a pretty good warm-up fight.
Staff surprisingly broken at times. Okay, no need to go through... Okay, it is very injured, but still. Alright, let's hope I can beat Mitsurugi with the power of this staff. There's a chance, I'm not sure how well it works, but there's a chance that this move might be able to cause the guard break glitch, which would earn me a real quick victory.
Final battle, fight!
Goodness. Ugh. Nope. He just does too much damage.
I can't believe this.
Ouch. Okay. He's going to one-shot Ailey pretty much, but alright, let's equip our new weapon. Let's see, there it is. Nakinue. Hopefully with all three of them, I can inflict enough damage to kill Sugi. Although Ailey is, again, likely to be just one shot, we will see.
Decisive battle.
Oh, guard break, it's hard to safely. Most of the time, guard break doesn't worry me too much, but when the enemy does a lot of damage. Okay, that did not cause the guard break glitch, unfortunately. But she was able to do a small amount of damage. Yeah, I don't have any attacks that just hit in quick enough succession. Oh, jeez. Goodness, he's good at avoiding that. Oh, yes! That was lucky.
I'm sorry, but I must
That was extremely lucky. No other way to describe that. Awesome. Okay, that gives her access to Setsuka and Taki, neither of which is really good enough for Chronicles of the Sword, though, not for me at least. Doesn't have anything nearly as good as the kunais that I can abuse. Setsuka has some okay stuff, but she also doesn't have any good weapons. Even her ultimate weapon isn't really all that grand. The monk, it's very tempting to go with Keelik as a change of pace. Instead of having two staff fighters, but quite honestly, staff fighters are still pretty darn good, so... Alright. I could probably kill Taki relatively well with Nightmare Soul Edge, but it's not safe because if I die, I lose the scenario, then I have to fight Mitsurugi again, which is the last thing I want. Goodness, Taki. All right. Not that scared of the final boss, though he's a lot weaker than Taki is, especially being only level 23.
Decisive battle. Battle 1. Fight.
No sidestepping. Nope. The sidestep stronger than mine.
Hey, over here! You might want to rethink this. Be careful from now on.
Saint and Ninja both got new jobs. Okay, all 5.
Final battle. Fight.
The art of Kung Fu made all the difference.
The art of Kung Fu made all the difference. As he sounds especially like a surfer boots dude saying that. That's how I would expect Bill and Ted to talk about the art of Kung Fu.
Final battle, fight!
I'll take you on anytime you want.
Okay. I want Zara to attack the two Soul Calibur characters, though, to try and get the... She, even if I have to take a while at it, she will be able to overcome them because of the fact that she is... Goodness, forgot how weirdly I spread my characters out. Because they are on the field, just spamming bombs from her thief ability should be enough to get her up there. Let's... Now, probably, Ichigo's actually going to have to chase them down on the main stronghold. I should have built up one of those strongholds to respawn closer.
Final battle, fight!
Oh my word. His reach is really incredible. This is gonna take a little while.
It can't be. I lost.
I'm surprised I'm 15-5 with her and already level 20. I must have done a few things. Actually, I have a new idea for you.
Decisive battle.
Okay, that's interesting.
Battle 1, fight!
Oh, emulator lag.
Hey, over here! You might want to
I think it's back. Hard to tell.
A few.
Final battle, fight!
Be careful from now on.
Okay, fortify this up so that on there. And move back up there to defend against. That's Rudiger, isn't it? Yep, saw that coming.
Decisive battle. Battle 1. Fight! Final battle. Fight!
Do you see now? You never stood a chance.
Once my characters get to level 50, I can retire them and other characters dead. Okay, Zara, try again.
Final battle. Fight!
Level 60 Dancer stats are horrible, but the Thief is just as bad, and at level 20, high damage is so minimal. Oh, stop dodging! And this is why this is not really a reliable weapon for the speedrun.
It can't be.
And why I don't use Luca more. When you're playing a lot of things casually, I wonder if I will even be close to my more than 50% victories again by the time this finishes.
Battle 1. Fight!
Using the right moves and, of course, high skill from those who are actually highly skilled makes a much bigger difference in this game than levels for defeating an enemy. But you can see just how much difference stats do make based on character class and everything. When there are some enemies I was two-shotting with this move, and then some that take 7 or 8. You know, the levels are important, which is why not a few levels here and there, not enough for me to worry about really routing out an experience tree to my speedrun. But definitely enough that I can't do too much to adjust my strategy. A new item available. That new item yet. Everybody's staged there. While we wait for Zara to finish off the Soul Calibur characters, that's going to take a while. She's doing a little bit of damage every time at least. Golly, she's dying faster than I thought she would. This separate is not good for my... How did that... This is... Hooray for power of separate, pushing the enemy away. We're being pushed away from each other, which is kind of bad, but it also means that if the enemy is not careful at the edge, the AI is not programmed to avoid falling off due to being pushed by separate. It just is not in its programming, so you get it close enough and that can happen.
Decisive battle. Battle 1. Fight!
"50 battles won, Rayleigh."
Battle 2. Fight!
Please.
Battle 3. Fight!
Battle Maids, the best in Japanese fashion.
You can't stop me.
Hey, Slev, thanks. Fight indeed. Hey, yes, I very much wish that they'd give it the HD treatment they gave the first Soul Calibur and Soul Calibur 2. Among other things, maybe they, could just clean up the save loading. The data corruption problem that made it so difficult for people to keep saves, and then would just make it more accessible to so many more people.
Final battle. Fight!
Ooh, do I have him set up here? Come on. My bombs care not about your dancing around. Almost.
It can't be. I lost.
Did a lot more damage that time than my first couple. Yeah, unlocking things like that. I have deleted my save files on both of my actual memory cards multiple times each so that I could re-unlock everything again. Been a while since I've done that, which is one of the reasons I decided to go ahead and stream this emulator unlocking portion, and one of the reasons I decided to do that. Okay, let's see if Shara can finish him off this time and
Final battle. Fight!
get the wealth of experience. Yay!
Listen, I just can't afford to lose.
Okay, level 23. Nice. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Wondering why on earth they would do something like that. It doesn't make any sense.
Final battle. Fight!
Come on. Just a little dumb, please. There we go. A little them is nice. Don't sidestep, don't sidestep. Ah, that's unfortunate. Woohoo! Got a lucky break there. Alright.
Take good care of yourself.
Yeah. One of the things that I guess I kind of get it. From what I understand, a lot of these custom styles weren't well received by a lot of old-time hardcore players, especially those who like played semi-professionally or whatever, like to do tournaments from Soul Calibur 2 era. They were cheesy and not totally balanced, I guess. But they still added a lot of variety and flavor to the things. Oh yeah, and the bombs and other weird modes, yeah. Soul Calibur 6 is definitely better than 5 and 4 were for custom modes, but all the different weird mission modes and stuff and special battles in Soul Calibur 3 and 2, they had so many of them. I really miss the huge number of custom weapons from Soul Calibur 2 as well. I definitely see why you think that would be a neat speedrun idea. If I did more with Soul Calibur 2 myself, I'd probably work on those a bit more, but I haven't touched Soul Calibur 2 in forever. I haven't touched any of Soul Caliburs apart from 6 and 3 in forever. The starter to access. I haven't played my 360 in forever, and it's not working very well, so I can't even do my 4 and 5. Oh well. They need to do a big
So you've come.
Soul Calibur HD Legacy Pack for PS4 and Xbox One that would give us the HD. Oh yeah, that's right. Haha. I'm like, why isn't he blowing up? Oh, because he's Guardian Force, of course. Yes! I can actually get him with this if it works. Oh! Yeah. That stupid special arcade mode. The highly difficult one that starts with Keelik and just goes up in difficulty from there.
Battle 2. Fight.
Legendary Souls, yeah, that's the one. And yeah, Arcade Hard. I never did any of the harder arcades, but Legendary Souls. I can't believe people like Kneesbaker who can actually speedrun the Legendary Souls. That's insane to me.
Battle
Yeah.
3. Fight.
Yeah, Mies Baker is pretty insanely good. He does he speedruns the Tower of Lost Souls in Soul Calibur 4 as well.
Come on.
And just what he does with that is pretty crazy too. Okay, he's dead finally. Come on.
This is reality. You must learn to accept it.
You are strong, but you do not yet know where to direct that power. Right now,
I can't remember how high I got, but I couldn't complete the thing either. That sounds about right. It's been so long. It's been more than 10 years since I tried to play the Tower of Lost Souls. It was not nearly the equal to Chronicles of the Sword in just in what it gave, the value it gave for how difficult it was. Even the hardest parts of this you can bash your way through with enough characters of a high enough level eventually, but yeah, it's surprising that completing the tower is not one of the achievements, thank goodness. Okay, now my least favorite one.
Decisive battle. Battle 1. Fight.
Come on.
Hey, over here! You might want to
Battle 2. Fight.
Yeah. It would be interesting to make a console exclusive, and the only problem is in this day and age with the console exclusive is that they're, with the internet and everything way too out, too many people would whine about not getting their favorite character on their console, cause a big fuss about it. And then, unlike in Soul Calibur 4, where eventually they could, because they have the Star Wars license, they could eventually allow you to get Yoda and Darth Vader as downloads for the other console. It would be a lot trickier to, you know, even eventually, after doing it, do that way. It's a nice pipe dream, but that's almost as unlikely as a Chronicles of the Sword full special game mode. Yeah. Again, it's just the licensing thing that causes such a problem. And it's a lot less of a problem in Japan, from what I understand. They've had a lot of games with multiple franchises together that they could never port to the West because the licenses for releasing those, like, anime-based titles or whatever, or specific game titles in the West is a lot more specific. Hey, Bam CC. Welcome to the little bit of fun we've got going on here. Yeah, that really stinks. Xbox has been kind of bad with that, from what I understand. It'd be really neat to have a Xbox specifically character as a guest. That's very true.
Battle 1. Fight.
Be careful from now on.
Really? Wow.
Decisive battle. Battle 1. Fight.
Stop whining! Stop whining! Stop whining! Stop whining! Hey, over here! You might want to rethink this.
You really...
Battle 2. Fight.
Stop whining! 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 Stop whining!
Okay.
Hey, over here! Be careful from now on.
That's actually not a bad idea. That would be pretty cool, and also wouldn't cause quite as much of an uproar amongst the populace. Because it's less likely anyway. But especially with that, you know, mostly you're not going to care about looking like someone like that normally. That's definitely a pretty neat idea too.
Decisive battle.
Okay, I actually have no idea how well any of these characters will do against Mel. I think I should be good with my main character, but if I'm not... Okay, good. That's what I was hoping would happen. I do not know how the staff would be able to even knock down. I actually don't do too many knockdown attacks at all with that character, so... Okay. Why were you not involved in the fight? That's weird.
Battle 1. Fight.
Oh. Come on. Wow, that was brutal.
Battle 2. Fight.
Considering that they already do have hidden in the game under certain circumstances the regular axe and shield Lizardman, I think they are going to bring him in, but it'll probably be the more traditional one, at least at first. Hopefully if they go on to Soul Calibur 7, they'll do the Soul Calibur 5 version, though, because yes, that dual-wielding axes was really interesting. That's very true. That'd be really neat. Because definitely Xbox got the most gypped on a custom character with Spawn, since, you know, he wasn't really a video game character, especially not one related to that console. But PS2 wasn't that much more with Heihachi. True, the Tekken games were PS2 exclusive video games, but Heihachi was also a specifically Namco character already, so... Yeah, Nintendo by far got the best overall. In fact, that is actually the whole reason that I play Soul Calibur at all, is because of the GameCube version and having Link on it. Because my sister was a big fan of Link and Legend of Zelda, and she was working at Blockbuster, may Blockbuster rest in peace, way back in the day, in the early aughts, and we'd just gotten a PS2, and she saw the GameCube cover of Soul Calibur 2 and saw Link on it and thought, wow, and I've seen this on PS2 as well. We could rent the PS2 version and then we'd have a PS2 game with Link in it. And so she rented it, but it turns out that Link isn't in the PS2 version. But I ended up falling in love with the franchise anyway from that little bit of exposure.
Battle 1. Fight.
Whirlwind. Whirlwind isn't as bad for, actually not as bad for the Barbarian as for Dancer, though, because since I can go right or left to do this move, I can move away from the edge and still get the attack off. Oops. Nope, gonna go over.
Fight.
That was another one of those hits that really shouldn't have hit. Level 60, yeah. Being level 60 makes a pretty darn big difference in this game. Saints are not a very strong class at all, but being level 60 makes a pretty huge difference.
Do you see now? You never stood a chance.
Go ahead and raise that up so Kane will refresh, respawn there in that one.
Decisive battle. Battle 1. Fight.
Oh.
I'll take you on anytime you want.
Okay, only 2 fights left in my least favorite Chronicle. Now, hopefully I shouldn't have to fear running forward into the enemy quite so much this time around, as I did in the Brunhild fight. Any of those special guest characters, though, is making me think of Smash Ultimate. I don't play it myself, but a lot of people on the Discord channels I'm part of talk about Smash and how much it's, how many different custom characters it's gotten. There's so many wide varieties. That's kind of the whole intent of Smash, of course, but even so, it takes be long for the days of those special guest characters. Oh, come on. Here we go. Come on. There we go.
Hey, over here, you might want to rethink this. Don't hold back next time.
Already level 48 with my main character. I've had to redo some of these, a couple of these, I believe, and I've been fighting everything, but even so, the amount of extra experience I've gotten is pretty surprising. It's been a while since I've done 100% though, and could compare. But it's one of the ironic things about this game mode, since there's no way to really grind other than losing and trying again. Losing a lot is actually good for your experience. Not good for a speedrun, of course. But the main way I guess it functions is that it's a little bit useful for grinding your way through casually, because eventually you'll level up enough to be able to take on the enemies no matter how strong they are if you just keep at it. Which is something that can't be said for a lot of fighting game modes, that's for certain. Definitely so. On my any percent, it's about at the point where I think I've figured out pretty much every Chronicle just about as much as I can. It's just a matter of performing better. My current PB, for instance, I lose nearly 3 to 4 to 5 total minutes in the first, like, 15 Chronicles. and Chronicle 18 as well, I lose another minute. So if I perform everything perfectly and the fights go perfectly for me, I could theoretically get a sub 3, but I think that's about the limit without getting some sort of HD remaster that makes the loads better or does other things like that. Or, you know, some sort of glitch skip found. But the odds of that happening are pretty low. I think the game is pretty basic. It's the same thing, pretty much the same thing for SC%. It's, I can definitely just by... I had a very similar situation there, a really horrible early game, and ended up PBing recently simply because I had an amazing endgame execution. Got a couple of minutes up on that. So I could probably get sub 340 with SC% if everything goes perfectly. It's roughly the same kind of situation. But as much as I found little things here and there over time, I think I've just about found all the little basics that I can improve upon. Okay, let's see. That's fine, actually. Yeah, that'll work. Once I've got those two runs to where I'm really satisfied with them, I'm probably going to start working on other side or meme categories. Like, I was very impressed with the recent run I did of main character only, where I only make one custom character. I got that down to a 310, which is pretty incredible considering I don't have access to 5 Swordmasters. And that's a little bit more interesting because I have to use a variety of weapons. Yeah, definitely an unarmed character. Possibly one involving the Greave Edge. Greave Edge would be a great thing to get back. I'd also like a more normal dual-wielding character. Because Cervantes is cool and all, but one of my biggest frustrations throughout the entirety of Soul Calibur is that I haven't had a good character just to use 2 swords. You know, like Lloyd from Tales of Symphonia, who they used as a guest in one of the side Soul Calibur things. I can't remember which one. Was it Legends or something? I can't remember. But the problem is that every weapon that Cervantes has, his offhand Nirvana sword gun, doesn't change, so that he can do his sword gun things. And I find that a little bit of a problem, because what if I want to make a dual wielder that doesn't have a gun in his sword and has a, you know, 2 swords that are of equal size or whatever? There really isn't anything like that in any of these. Well, I'd like to see a regular dual-wielding swordsman, as well as a return to a Heihachi or Devil Jin style unarmed, oh yeah.
Battle 3, fight! 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I really like Rose's style. It's interesting. It scratches a couple of itches, but it's not quite a proper dual wield.
You're way too weak.
And even then, it's a very particular kind of dual wield, because he uses both of his swords in reverse grip when he splits them, which again is not, you know, a normal kind of dual wielding style like you see in most other video games that feature dual wielding swordsmen. Those two.
Decisive battle. 1, fight.
I think he may have.
2, fight.
Because, yes, the apprentice also used that reverse grip style. Down saber, I have a friend who always calls it when he talks about wanting to use that similar kind of fighting style.
Battle 3, fight.
But it would not surprise me because, yeah, they often take inspiration from their own sources for some of the more unique styles. They decide to reuse ones they don't have access to again. As unique as Necrid was, his moves, 90% of them were pulled from everybody else in the game. I actually saw a video where a lot of the moves of the custom styles were actually pulled from Tekken. Especially the kicks. Yeah, he's definitely got a silly style. I've never been a big Voldo fan, so I wasn't a huge Dampierre fan either, but I don't mind them being there because they do have, they add a uniqueness to the game with that silliness.
Fight.
This could be bad. Okay, good.
Listen, I just can't afford to lose.
If I could get Tongue of Tonath unlocked, that would help out the thief quite a bit. Yeah, that'd be interesting, too. It's a little bit out of place for the time period. But another one, what I was really hoping to see in Soul Calibur 3 was a sword and shield that was more knight-based than a long sword and a larger shield, rather than the Gladius small shield of you know, the Greek Roman style that Sophia and Cassandra use. Because there is way too much of a overflow of that in Soul Calibur 3. Because you not only have Cassandra and Sophia, you have Lizardman using... They gave him an axe instead of a sword, so it's slightly different, but still generally the same. And then they added the Sword and Shield unique style, which basically is just another version of all those. Oh, come on. Not necessarily square. I wouldn't mind what they call a kite shield either, which is more triangle-based, but definitely bigger than the little tiny shield, and with a bigger sword than just a short sword. Yeah, big shield and spear, phalanx style combat. They really don't have much in the way of spears except for the lance in this game, and then, well, I guess there's a couple now. There's normally there's Sung Mina. They do add Hilde, but the spear and sword, while the dual wield is interesting there, that's another style that's a little bit too unique for the custom feel. That's one thing I'm always thinking about when I'm thinking about characters for Soul Calibur and guest characters in particular and new styles, is I want things that I can use to create some of my favorite kinds of fantasy characters and the characters I made in my role-playing games, or my favorite characters from other role-playing games and stuff. And some of the styles that they make for characters in Soul Calibur, while they're neat and all, they're just too unique for me to think of a character design that goes with them. on. Yeah. Rock is supposed to be, Rock has one of the weirdest stories, but he's supposed to have been raised by Native Americans. So it is kind of odd that they didn't have any other kind of a Native American influence. Somebody from his adoptive tribe who comes looking for him, who uses a bow or something. Yeah, he's got a weird backstory. He's originally from England or something, if I remember reading right. It's been years since I read his backstory, but it's like he's from England, and his parents were going to the New World and the ship wrecked, and he was found and raised by Native Americans, which is why his name is simply Rock and why he has weird animal-based furs and headgear and stuff.
I'm sorry, but I must move on.
And then he eventually found a ship that made his way back to Europe. I can't remember at what point Soul Edge features into his storyline, if it was somehow back in the New World, but I think it was after crossing over, because that part of the world has apparently never been touched by Soul Edge. Yeah, a truly African character would be neat too. They actually kind of left the door open slightly for that, I think, in Libra of Souls, because there was a surprising amount of special events and things that happened in Africa. That is what the game lacks more than anything else, is African. But yeah, an archer, it's kind of hard to do a particularly range-based character in a fighting game, but I would love to see an archer and be able to make archers. Oh, go, yeah.
Decisive battle.
The, more than anything else, I would love to see a standalone game of, of Chronicles of the Sword, and that would actually give a lot of opportunity for doing almost any kind of weapon style you like, because, especially if it's based in this world, there isn't a particularly strong ethnic, it's really like a fantasy RPG style world. There's not a lot of ethnic, specificity. I'm not quite sure the word or if I can say it right, but they're Asian cultures and Western European cultures intermingled here. None of the three nations is specifically an Eastern nation or whatever. They all seem to have some, Eastern influence in them as well as Western. So it would be a perfect kind of place to just have characters of any race or nationality wielding any sort of weapon just as a base. Yep. They could go a lot more freely. They wouldn't have to specifically base the characters on make them exactly like Xianghua and anything else. Yeah, you could have those kinds of special mixed styles and callbacks to earlier ones there. Come on. Ah, oh, blast. I was worried I was getting a bit too close to the edge there.
Are you
Battle 2. Fight.
Oh, come on. He's actually close to Rock, I believe. He uses a lot of the things that Rock had in the original Soul Calibur. That's what he's intended to be, kind of like Assassin is actually kind of with leftover stuff from Huang in Soul Calibur 1 and Soul Blade. Yep. Eventually, supposedly, from a lot of the well-researched rumors I've read, Huang, along with a lot of the people they've been asking for, Setsuka, Huang, probably even Yun Sung, will eventually be coming into Soul Calibur 6. And I'm really looking forward to that. I haven't... I think I have heard that theory. There's not a whole lot to support it, but it is the... but he definitely is using a Huang style. Fortify us up so we can spawn here. And by the same token, people think that Rock is Berserker in disguise because of his style being that nearly Astra. Because technically that's how they went. After, it's kind of a weird thing with Soul Calibur because they ended up wanting to, kind of similar to Street Fighter did, they wanted to make new characters in a similar style and graduate from old characters to new ones, and that was kind of the intent. So, you know, Cassandra was supposed to replace Sophitia, and Astaroth was replacing Rock, and Keelik was replacing Sung Mina, which is why their moves, especially in the earlier games, had so many specific similarities. And then they ended up, but the people who were really fans of the old characters didn't react to that very well, so they ended up combining them and then making their styles go apart. So yeah, that's likely the case there.
Decisive battle. In battle 1, fight!
I'll take you on anytime you want.
Yeah, hopefully they will. They've done a very good job of changing up the styles now. It's pretty incredible to think, especially of like Sung Mina and Keelik in Soul Calibur 6, how different they are from each other. And remember back to Soul Calibur 2 when a lot of their moves were entirely identical. It's kind of sad because Sung Mina is my favorite character, but Keelik has kept all of my favorite moves of the weapon style set that I first fell in love with when I was using Sung Mina in Soul Calibur 2. I really ought to do some Soul Calibur 6 speedruns just to do Sung Mina stuff. Because I really did love playing the pseudo Keelik Sung Mina in Soul Calibur 2. Hopefully they'll do a little bit more with that with Rock, because apparently Rock is going to be coming in again as well.
Decisive battle. Battle 1, fight!
That would definitely be unique. There's a couple things they could do with that. Yeah.
Hey, over here! You might want to rethink. This really wasn't a fair contest.
Isn't that essentially what Zvai's werewolf is in Soul Calibur 5-2, is a JoJo stand? I've never seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but I've heard a lot about the stands in context of similar kinds of characters. Okay, and it's perfectly okay that my main character does nothing. Which is good, because he's level 50, I really don't want him to get much more in the way of experience. I have no idea where the enemies are going to go in relation to me now. We'll find out.
Battle 1. Fight.
Nah. Okay.
It looks like I won today, but who knows what'll happen next time.
Yeah, webcam's messing up a lot today. Hasn't given me problems in quite a while. Oh, a big worry that I have to fix it. I should have waited for the other guy. Oh well.
Final battle. Fight.
Level 3 Baldwin.
Don't hold back next time.
Yeah, seriously. It is one thing I liked about Soul Calibur 5 and 6, that as cool as the specifically weapon styles are, adding a little bit more mysticism to the game and the styles that are available in 5 and 6 is really cool, and I think they ought to expand on that. We don't want it overboard, so everybody is throwing fireballs out of their sword or whatever, but definitely having a small but significant collection of characters who use some sort of mystic spirit, and definitely giving us an unarmed fighter again. That was probably what I liked best about Soul Calibur 5, was being able to make my favorite martial arts characters using Soul of Devil Jin. Yeah. Her Kamehameha wave, wind blast type ability. Adding those little things in really helps spark her out more as well.
I'll take you on anytime you want.
Final battle, fight!
Whew! That was close.
This really wasn't a fair contest.
Struggle, Break, Whirlwind, which is worse? I'm not even sure which is.
Decisive battle.
Definitely worse is Guardian Force, though. I'd want to come from the bottom.
Battle 1.
Thing on
fight.
these guys. Yeah.
Do you see now? You never stood a chance.
Who came up with that sound effect? They're a genius. Alright, you two go for Siegfried. It's very, announces to you very strongly that you've done something.
Decisive battle. Battle 1. Fight.
Oh wow, wouldn't that be something?
Battle 2. Fight.
Oh. That always backfires on me whenever I try it. I'm like, oh, I could push him off the edge, but somehow you get deflected off. And
Yeah, goodbye. Listen, I just can't afford to lose.
well, maybe if the follow-up to Soul Calibur 6 fares as well or even better, the franchise has revived, maybe we'll see something like that. You can always hope. At the very least, you know, it'd be easy enough to get the voice actors, because they already have the voice actors in both Japanese and English, you know, for the most recent game.
Decisive battle. Battle 1. Fight.
I always talk about it, but this is the moment where it comes true. The reverse offense up. In most of my moves that I use in the speedrun, of course, the katana and the... ooh, gee.
Out of the way.
Oh, no, no, no! Ow! Fast. Yep, level 60s. The reserve offense up is the big problem there. Because his attack power goes up as we go down in health. And he'd already be doing decent enough damage as a level 60 knight, but he was doing probably about at least 50% more damage because of having so low health. And that put me in a really big, yeah. The ring out, Soul Calibur 3 has the funniest ring outs, definitely, with several of these styles that are so leapy, springy everywhere, and then the combined with just the fact that they don't have a lot of resistance. The ring outs on so many of the stages are open walls. Well, not actually where I was expecting to respawn, but kind of convenient, because next time I can come at him with all four, and then I'll definitely be able to win. When all else fails, gang up with more numbers.
Decisive battle.
Once a character gets to 50, I'll be able to retire them and probably just going to delete them, period, and make a replacement.
Battle 1. Fight.
Since he can't fit all the possible characters anyway. Yeah.
Fight.
I made a few token decks in recent years using white. They really have gone that direction in the past, 10 years or so. I've got a couple of Elspeth Planeswalkers that I use in those decks. Is that the current token meta, Anaya, red, white, green?
Decisive battle. Battle 1. Fight. You're not going to...
Yeah, those are the... Space Bank bets. Come on. See, he's doing a lot less damage this time because he's hitting me before he's low on health. That's the strat. Let him beat me up before I do damage to him. Oh, that messed up. There we go. That was better. I'm a little bit worried. I thought that I'd do fine with 4 considering how I did before, but that all that hitting at first. He's going to one-shot my thief by the time he gets close enough to hit me. It's partially because the moves I'm using aren't high damage, and nor my character I have much weaker characters than you would normally. Well, not really normally for a normal first playthrough. This is about right. But, yeah. But that's the thing about a level 60 knight, too. It's one of the reasons why I say that level 60 Nightmare in Chronicle 19 is disappointing. Because he takes a lot more damage, because he's only a barbarian instead of a knight. Ooh, only one to go.
Final battle, fight. You're not going to give it up.
There we go.
This really wasn't a fair contest.
Yeah. Wearing out. Insult to injury. At least he didn't taunt afterwards. Sadly, the AI in this game is never programmed to use their taunt buttons. Except for Sword and Shield, because instead of taunt, they have a, by the power of Grayskull, He-Man command that empowers their next ability. So they will occasionally use that, but the AI will never use taunting otherwise. In the middle of a fight, it'd be nice to occasionally get a free hit in because they choose to taunt. Yeah, seems that way sometimes. They definitely seem to learn over the course of Chronicles of the Sword. They're far more likely to block attacks that you've been using throughout the Chronicle when they get there, which is one of the reasons why I have to use the ones I do, because they're just the hardest ones for them to learn to block. But it's like that ninja somersault. The ninja running forward triple kick that I can do is the best one with the kunai, but it's really hard to use in some circumstances because you have to be running forward just enough to get it off. And especially when they're already close to you, it's bad. The somersault, fling them over my head move is a good supplement early on in the game, but by the end, when you've used it enough, they've learned to block it, and block it 90% of the time. That's what happened to me in the last fight, too.
Battle 1.
I can't use that reliably anymore. They're too likely to block it. Luckily, this is one of the ones they can never figure out. They kind of learn the Nightmare move that I've been using constantly as well, but when it does hit, it does enough damage, and it delays enough that they have a little difficulty with it. The one that everyone else favors, the Iron Sword's AB attack that does the 2 overhead swings, they're like, that one's really good, but that's another one that the AI tends to learn and start seeing through at the end of the game. They block it a lot better, and they... actually, I want... And so they block that and sidestep it a lot more, so it's not as useful.
The Almighty Ones. Battle 1. Fight.
You'd think at least they'd cooperate with the speedruns, yeah. No, we're trying to go fast here. Stop blocking all of our stuff.
Remember, the treasure is mine.
If only there was actually treasure for you to get. Yeah, the wave swords, those are really neat. I do like those too. That's in my top 5 favorite unique styles of the ones they have here. Brave Edge, the Wave Swords are probably my two favorite. The fan is actually unique enough that it's kind of neat too, with its ability to send waves. That one's probably not top 5, but it's interesting.
Decisive battle.
I will not lose against a traitor, even if it is you.
Whatever you say, Abelia.
Battle 1. Fight.
He's off to way too aggressive a start. Holy, she is beating me a lot harder than I thought she would. That was not a good move. Soul Calibur has always had a really good answer, but I think SC3 might be the best one. The one in SC6 is okay, but he doesn't quite compare. Come on, don't guard impact the one attack I can use on you. Stop blocking it too. This is starting to look really bad. Who can... The ninja will probably make a lot of progress, I hope. This attack is actually really good on her because she takes damage even when she blocks. And her kicking upwards like that comes through multiple times. Okay. I should be good now. Even if she finishes me off here. I should be able to finish her with the monk. I hope. Okay. It's up to you, Kay. Can you do it?
Final battle. Fight.
It's close enough. There we go. Yeah.
Be careful from now on.
Yep, indeed. Okay. Alright, let's take a visit to the shop. See what we can do here.
Welcome to my store.
I'm gonna buy pretty much all the weapons, just have them available. Murasame, that's the most important one. So I can rely on my Swordmaster if I need to. Or on my katana user. Mega in this case. Maybe I don't have enough money for everything. Not quite. Oops.
Thanks a lot.
Let's see. Anything else I really need? Oh yeah, I need to see if I can get... I should be able to get...
Are you looking for anything in particular?
Shusetsu, I think it's called. Whatever. First, cannot get any more characters at the moment, unfortunately. So...
Is this what you're looking for?
No, it is not.
Good speed to you. Please come again.
I play so many games where X is your,
You looking for something?
Oh man, seriously? No Shutetsu yet? Darn. I guess I'll have to beat somebody here. Chonglei I could give to my monk now. It'd be powerful. If I need to do my dancer, I can do them for now. Gosh, okay. Okay, almost out of money, so gonna go ahead and leave.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, so nobody actually got any good weapons because I can't get the Shotetsu. Unless you got your big dagger. No, still assassin was all we really got there. That didn't unlock either. Alright, and hopefully these other four will be able to overcome Swordmaster End. This end is level 99. I'm very sad that two of the weapons I need the very most haven't unlocked yet. It's defeating certain enemies that unlocks them. It's really weird that you don't find the ultimate user of dagger and kunai until this map. Kunai maybe not until the map after that, I don't know. We'll find out. Not that it matters that much for the next Chronicle, which is the sad thing, because I'm not going to be I'm going to be spending most of my time just fighting in the field and grinding experience so I can get characters leveled. It's the most, really, it's the most efficient way to get the levels you need to unlock the final classes.
Battle 1. Fight!
This move is one of the ultimate for rewards in skill, as it were, because when I failed it a couple of times, you've seen me do another hit instead. You have to rather carefully shift, make sure you're running enough, which sometimes is to do it fast is really hard. Do a quick shift from moving forward just to diagonally 3 or 9, as you would say in the normal setup. Oh, how did that hit? Reach of that grab is insane. Come on. Yeah, level 99 Swordmaster does a lot of damage.
Are you
Battle 3. Fight.
And has a lot of defense and hit points. Ooh. I haven't used it in a while, so they've forgotten how to defend against it. Okay, now he has. Oh, come on. I was pulling away from the edge anyway. That was pretty close, though. I should be able to finish him off here. Should be able to. Really hope.
Final battle. Fight.
Oh, come on. Just impact. Again? How unfair can you get? Okay, sheesh.
I'll take you on anytime you want.
Oh, gee. That's how unfair SC3 can get with its good AI when it really wants to. I will frame perfectly guard impact you for just impact. Multiple times in succession. Just to prove how good computers can be when you really want them to. Alright, but that's done, the hardest part of this level. The rest of it's going to be pretty smooth sailing. Experience did that net, I'm up to 40, wow. I think they do. Yeah, that's the soul charge. It's definitely, it's a more enhanced version. They wanted it to be a callback to Soul Calibur 1, 2, and 3, where you had the soul charge ability. It's a lot more significant than that one is. With the freeze time cinematic powering up, and lasts quite a bit longer to allow more special abilities to be used. But yeah, they definitely it definitely affects the AI's properties. A lot of things do, I've seemed to notice. I think they tend to go more aggro when you get low on health or when they get low on health. I think they get they're programmed to either become desperate or to start seeking for a kill. I know that it maybe it's just a semi-placebo-like thing. My own nature thinking that way because of how I become desperate. I just fall into their traps more. Yeah.
Decisive battle. Battle 1. Fight.
Stop whining! Stop whining! Stop whining! Stop whining! Hey, over here! You might want to rethink.
Battle 2. Fight.
Stop whining! Scream! Stop whining! Stop whining! Stop whining! Stop whining! Hey, over here! You might want to
New items available. That's probably going to be the Shutenso kunai that I like so much. You can play around instead. And is that person going to retreat as she always does? Eric Grandal Soldier. Not quite yet. We aren't quite past midway. Kurosap Elite, my favorite mission. Unique to this, it's a combination of cure and separate, but they didn't translate separate properly. Oops. Very English translation there. I guess because of the fact that it probably wasn't caught because of the fact that it's a unique stronghold that you never fight in. Nobody ever bothers actually fighting in there. Oh dear. He has the wrong, Wait, how is he getting past? That's totally unfair. I have the wrong weapon equipped, which, I accidentally equipped Jambia instead of the...
Final battle.
This is the generic weapon. It's going to be really hard to beat this guy with a generic. Because at the very least I did chip damage, plus it increased my attack power enough to do a little bit more damage. A little bit at least. Oh well. Oh, come on. Nope.
It can't be. I lost.
Well, when she respawns, I'm going to need to fix her weapon equip. I need to double check Michiko as well and make sure that she has the right kunai. She might not. No, she does have Neki. That death has prompted an AI shift, which is not bad. Okay, Abigail here is the one who's going to unlock my Tongue of Tunap, which would really make the dagger a little bit easier to use. There we go.
It looks like I won today, but who knows what'll happen next time.
Yep. As I thought, that's going to unlock Tongue of Tunap.
Final battle. Fight.
Come on.
Sorry.
Oh, come on. Gee. This isn't Taki, this is the generic kunai. And that ninjas start with. And yeah, I've got pretty good little tricks for it. Not quite enough to overcome that high level monk though.
Decisive battle.
It is the style that I used the most when I was starting. I began with a ninja, so I learned the best moves for it really fast. Take advantage of it. And yes, I had my Barbarian with Soul Edge, but still the amount of damage I did to Nightmare compared to what I was doing to Siegfried, pretty extremely different. Bad final boss. Ailey, that's fine. Close to 50.
Battle 1. Fight!
You're way too weak.
Darn. I was hoping to build it up before she respawns, so she'd spawn closer to the action. Didn't quite make it. Whatever. Okay, at least Ichiko will regenerate.
Final battle. Fight!
Messed up. Oh yeah, I played this game a lot.
Do you see now? You
This
never
is my
stood a
third time
chance.
playing it this week. This one is specifically, I'm playing this one on emulator. Normally I speedrun this on the regular PS2 hardware, but I've been doing a brand new file here on emulator for a couple of reasons. One, to just kind of show some of the best ways, easiest ways to unlock the game if you're playing it normally, and then to get a file that can be used by others to speedrun at least on emulator. This, specifically this game mode in Soul Calibur 3 is one of my favorite things to play of all time. If you count it as a separate game, it is my favorite game of all time, pretty much. Creating your own characters, using a wide variety of weapons, mix of leveling up RPG-style things and unlocking weapons and such. Which is why it's been my primary speedrun focus ever since I took up speedrunning. Oh, that's right. Gara had a limited,
Decisive battle.
limited thing there.
Battle 1. Fight!
Hey, over here! You might want... This really wasn't a fair contest.
Very pleased with how Nightmare's been working out for me on this playthrough. Kind of glad I went with it instead of the dancer. Alright. Actually, it doesn't matter. Yeah, That's a problem a lot of people have had with it. I'm actually on my second disc of the game. I played it so much until it just stopped working, period, and I had to order a new one. That happened about, I don't know, 8-9 years ago-ish. Something.
Final battle.
You can still find a few of them available on Amazon such. As I've been talking about with Slavanis through the course of my broadcast here, it'd be really nice if they'd go back and give this another HD remaster that you could get on a modern system, download from Xbox Live or PlayStation Store, play on the newer systems. Sadly, they have not yet. It's the forgotten lost child, black sheep of the Soul Calibur franchise. And especially so since as good as Soul Calibur 6 is, and as interesting as the things they've thrown into it are, it's not as still doesn't quite strike the chord with me that this original game mode did. Knew that was going low. I should block that. Yeah, that was the original release one. That's the first one I had as well. I got Soul Calibur 3 as soon as it came out.
Final battle. Fight.
Soul Calibur 2 as well. I haven't played that nearly as much.
It looks like I got lucky.
I haven't gone back to Soul Calibur 2 nearly as often as I probably should have. It was really fun to play, but just not having any ability to customize characters makes Soul Calibur 3 so much more to me. Okay, we will attempt with Zara. She needs to re-equip her better dagger, though. What else can she use? Pickle? I unlock, I did not, but I have the Black Widow. Why not? Let's try something different for a bit. Anybody who's played this game before is probably going to recognize this spam.
Final battle. Fight.
Oh geez, come on, the reach on that. Reach of that stab is insane. Seriously? Now, I wish I was good with Sword and Shield. There are a number of characters you could get that would make situations like this a little easier.
I lost.
Yeah. That's really strange because most people greatly prefer the Barbarian's Iron Sword moveset because it has one ability that you can spam quite easily. Nightmare has a slightly better one, but its overall total moveset is does have a few better things though than the Iron Swords. Okay, good.
Be careful from now on.
For the most part, I don't really play the movesets, though. I find which moves in a particular moveset are more useful for defeating the AI. And I just spam those. Because, again, I speedrun this for the most part, and speedrunning you need to use abilities that will break the AI in the fastest possible fashion. Also, I'm not very... Despite how much I play the Soul Calibur games, I've never been all that good at doing things properly. Yeah, that's a good one. Not quite as good as the regular one has, though, but... Again, that's my playstyle. I have mad respect for people who are able to play the game more normally and do it very well.
Decisive battle.
I've been a more tactical and strategic person than a fast reaction action gamer.
Battle 1. Fight.
Stop whining! Stop whining! Stop whining! Stop whining! Hey, over here! You might want to rethink this.
Battle 2. Fight.
Stop whining!
Yeah, Voldo's one of the most annoying ones to play against somebody who's good at it.
Hey, over here! You might want to rethink. Be careful from now on.
Alright, now it's time to grind up some experience. Chester now available. Kana available, his sword available, arts available for character creation. Some units joined me. We'll go ahead and save the Chronicle now. Alright. So one of the things we need to do is unlock Swordmaster. To do that, we need level 50 on all of our characters. And the fastest way to get to level 50 is to use characters here. We're going to make a brand new character. Male dancer. I like that face edge. I like the hair much even. Luckily, hair does not affect alignment. I am really into the character creation. Depending on how I'm feeling before I start a run, but I will oftentimes, the vast majority of my runs, I've actually created more based on, I don't have everything unlocked though, that's the problem. What's good? Long hair semi-tied? That's good. I don't have gown, do I? I could do a holy jacket. Not going to spend a whole lot of time with it right here. Off that jacket instead. But as I say, most of my speedruns I actually make characters based on Final Fantasy characters. Final Fantasies 4 and 6 specifically, my two favorites. Sometimes from tactics, other times other things. I did a run once where I based all my characters off of Octopath Traveler characters. Oh, I didn't give her a name. I'll give her a name. I've already got Jara for my thief. What do I give it? Eventually, that's the thing about the game, is if you play enough, you will eventually unlock everything. Except for, the one exception is you can only get the ancient weapons that are the kind that Ulkadan uses on default with his random styles. You have to defeat him with that character in order to unlock that style, but that's not a big deal because those weapons don't even have stats. They are purely cosmetic. So Athena? Okay, sure. I'll name her Athena. That's... I don't often create characters while I'm on stream, so I don't mind taking a suggestion from chat if I get one. Athena's a good name. Oh, stop it. I'm trying to finish. So that is, and that's, I've written up a kind of guide for unlocking this as well that I put on the speedrun.com site. But the first rule of it is that, need to go to inventory for this, is that you can unlock anything you really need just by playing the game enough, and then you'll be able to buy it. Everything pretty much has to be bought in the shop, but it will become available in the shop just by playing enough games. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do one level 1 person. Oh, no. But first we're... Oh, I'm not ready. Oh, well. Haha, nice. The sword and shield one you were talking about? Yeah, nice. I'm really hoping my main character doesn't get kills because he does not need any more experience. He's maxed out at 50. Yeah. Of course, what I can also do is... the Night Terror one in Tales of Souls with any particular character. The Night Terror fight is definitely the pinnacle of the game in its difficulty and everything. With Nightmare? Yeah. I have a guide to get through that. It's one of the things that we figured out over the course of doing... When I started doing Chronicles of the Sword, nobody else had touched the game for speedrunning. Okay, that's good. Just gotta get through it. That's one of the things that we figured out. Other people came in and they wanted to speedrun the shorter categories like Tales of the Swords, and a couple of them did some research on how those particular paths... Let's see. Oh, poor Athena's taking the damage. Which is not good. Fine. I'm going to go ahead and interrupt there, because otherwise my level 1 character is going to die before getting any experience. I need her to land a killing blow, but the unfortunate thing is that that's all luck-based. If she does, she'll get plenty of experience. Come on. Ah, that's nice. Well, that's very bad, because if I lose characters, I don't get them back.
Battle 2. Fight.
I don't have a weapon on her either. Ha 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 ha, of course. Well, she'll finally get some experience.
Battle 3. Fight.
Here's a hint. If you just hold up or down and use that attack, it's pretty good for getting through some of the more difficult periods, because he slides to the side when he starts it, so it often avoids a lot of attacks enemies do, and they have trouble blocking it. Plus, it does a huge amount of damage. So that's something you can rely on in situations of desperation. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and go through this and get the experience I need, and then restart it, get a little bit of experience. Not gonna get as much as I would like, but I'll get some. That the main character again. One person I don't need to get levels. Yeah. That's definitely one of the things about it. A lot of people think that the only challenge comes from playing other players, but depending on the game and how the AI is programmed, the AI can be a lot worse and more troublesome to play against than the player. Okay, level 4 aliens, good. Now he's going to die, which is whatever. I've already had multiple characters die, so not a big deal. Yep. They are programmed to have some restraint, but I just had a fight earlier where the AI got 2 just impacts on my character and did devastating follow-ups, and normal human players aren't going to be able to do frame-perfect just impact, guard impact to hits that often, that many times in a row. Whatever, we'll see what happens. Kane is also a custom character. Yes, but I've mostly been using my custom characters because that's the easiest way to unlock things. Another item available in the weapon shop. Interesting. Kane I've just named after myself. Originally was named after the Kane character from Final Fantasy IV. Very long story, but how that goes. Very hard. Some of the, of course, level 3. Help time just lose up. The biggest difficulty comes from the missions of some of the battles. Plus, the final boss just has absolutely insane stats. And being good at the game fixes a lot of problems, but even so, when a single mistake can cost you a huge amount of life, having an enemy with 900 hit points and doing huge damage, the final boss is pretty challenging. But far more importantly than that, there are a couple of battles where you're running on missions that are extremely rough. Okay, let's visit the shop really quick.
Welcome to my store. Farewell, good luck. Please come again.
How much money do I have right now? I didn't get very much from the last Chronicle, I don't believe. So yeah, seems about right. But, let's see. Excalibur Sword and Shield. Oh, I didn't unlock. Maybe. Oh, I haven't unlocked the ultimates because I didn't actually win. I have to win to unlock the last ones. Well, good thing I don't need them. Chutenso, Tongue of Anatua, and that's actually all I need. Yes.
You looking for something?
Once you, eventually you'll unlock him and he'll become available in other modes just from playing. And then you might find him in arcade or some other thing.
Are you looking for anything in particular?
Let's see, no custom character
Are you
yet.
looking for anything in particular?
I may have to win to unlock. That seems to be one of the cases. You'll find out.
Speed to you. Please come again.
But the levels stay, so that's significant. I just need to get these characters to 50 and then probably start a new game, which is whatever. Okay. Let's equip. Herpashore is at least helpful to keep him alive. You two can stay on staff, that's fine. You can equip Shutenso now, though. You can equip Tongue of Tenuath for when you are back in the action. Okay. I'm going to try to manipulate the experience the way I really... Yeah, Soul Calibur 2 was not as badly programmed as Soul Calibur 3 was, especially in its save files.
This is a go down. It's over. I won't look back next time.
Wow, that's a lot of experience. That's actually more than the, that's actually more experience than the... I know it was a lot, but it's even more than you get from fighting the Soul Calibur characters. There, next. This is definitely the fastest way to get the experience I need to the characters hit. Let's see.
Battle 1. Fight!
Oops. Darn samurai katana wielders. Luckily, these tambourines give back a lot of
I'm
health.
just too strong for you.
That is quite a line to be using. Too strong for us. Yep. Alright, next.
Battle 1. Fight!
It's over. It looks like I'm just too strong for you.
Some of the later dungeon parts in Weapon Master are really, really difficult. I only played through that once, and I really had no desire to play through the final parts of it again, at least. But many of the dungeon parts are fun, yeah. You have to journey through the different parts of the dungeon. Some of them get a little bit rough, but mostly like a couple of the last Inferno fights, I believe, that really drove me crazy. Definitely the hardest difficulty parts of Soul Calibur 2.
Battle 1. Fight!
I won't hold back next time.
Yeah, those are the ones that I don't like. Those are what some of the parts of Chronicles that are hardest as well, when you have to deal with those kinds of missions.
It's over. I won't hold back next time.
There are a couple of fights in particular that are just extremely difficult in this game. Otherwise, it's not too bad to power through. Sung Mina in Chronicle 10 is really, really awful because she's on ice. And the, whoops. Oh, I guess that's probably going to be his last fight. I was going backwards, that's why. The worst ones are the fights where you have to fight against Guardian Force, which means that the enemy doesn't react when they take damage, or when they block. They have no regular stun effects. Let's kind of rough. Luckily, her stats aren't super big in the Chronicles of the Sword, and her mission isn't really big either, so...
Did you enjoy my dance?
Yeah. Setsuka is always programmed to combo. She's designed around combos, so she pretty much has to use them or she'd be pointless in the game, so they use them a lot in Soul Calibur. And you know, her AI uses them a lot more than other AIs use combos, really. Wow. That's quite a while.
Battle 1. Fight!
Okay, Blast finally lost her. As a low-level dancer, she's going to have very, very low, insignificant hit points, though.
Battle 2. Fight!
Hey, over here! You might want to be careful from now on.
Yikes. But hey, getting through it is a big thing.
Battle 1. Fight!
Just jumping past me as he did totally changed what I thought I was going to do, but it worked. Okay. Too bad, she didn't make it.
Battle 1. Fight!
Mission complete. Sounds like worthy endeavor. Definitely something enjoyable. Considering that the difficulty this game has had with saving files and such on PlayStation, I think that playing it on emulator is a definitely worthwhile thing. Which is one of the reasons why I'm making this save file for other people to download and use. Yeah, it did do a good job of sort of expanding the story. It's like from 1 to 2 to 3, not a lot really happened, or 2, 3, 4 rather. All took place within a very short time period, so it was reiterating a lot of the weird same stuff, but still it did follow a continuous story. It's really nice that you can follow that and see the characters develop and grow over that time. Okay, do I even want to... is up to 45. Yep. That was most significant of those.
You really stand out too much.
3 to 4 was where the least amount of stuff happened.
Irritating sight to be.
They added Hilde to the fight, but pretty much everybody's
I regret
stories
killing
in
you myself when I had the chance.
Hilde didn't make nearly the mark in
Damn.
Life Drain of the Soul Edge weapon. But Soul Calibur 2, 3, and 4 took place within a few months of each other, but 3 had a significantly different story compared to 2. Number 1, because of how they just expanded the actual storyline in the game with the Tales of Souls, but also because Soulcalibur made a huge mark in the story, and Kira did as well, actually. Seska not quite so much, but you know, she won the hearts of a lot of people, so that's what's important. And Hilde, as popular as she was, she didn't really affect the grand scheme of the battle between Soul Edge and Soul Calibur all that much. The biggest difference in the storylines of those two games was simply that a couple of the characters changed their tunes about Soul Calibur, Soul Edge. The designer, the developers, the writers decided that go that far. They wanted Soul Edge to have a particularly more evil. That's the funny thing, is that each time, because the stories through Soul Edge through Soul Calibur all seem to focus on one character gaining the victory and either destroying or obtaining Soul Edge, whatever their desire was, that none of them were strictly canon. I would figure that, in a way, it's a combination of Taki's and Sophistia's in Soul Calibur, Soul Edge to Soul Calibur. In Soul Calibur, it's pretty much Shanghua's-ish.
My dance.
Soul Calibur 2, Raphael is the one who comes closest to it, because he battles Nightmare at the very end, but then Nightmare nearly kills him, and that's what causes him, Siegfried, to wake up and split from him. In Soul Calibur 3, I really don't know who you would say won compared to Soul Calibur 4. It's almost Siegfried or Nightmare both, because they end up being possessed by the ultimate power of the swords, and the swords reaching their absolute peak from the battle between them. In a way, it's almost Soulcalibur too, because he actually, not quite as it's shown in the game, but he does initiate the event that peaks their power. But rather than being destroyed, as he hopes he will be, he ends up seeing, like, the breadth of reality, and so gains a new motive going into Soul Calibur 4.
Did you enjoy my dance?
The only story that's really canon is technically Soul Calibur 5's, because it does a single storyline that is absolutely completable, as it were. I was thinking about switching to Xianghua once I unlock that at level 30, but actually now I think I'll stick to this because it's a little bit better for these low health contests.
I'll take you anytime you want.
As soon as I'm capable of it, I am actually going to win this rather than just grinding on this mission so I can make sure that things are properly unlocked. And then I can start a new game and gain enough experience to reach the get these characters all to 50 and then start a new game with other characters.
Battle 1. Fight!
Yep, which is pretty incredible objective for considering how important he is to the storyline. He's the one who enables Nightmare to regain its power as a separate entity from Siegfried, and he's, really he is the true villain of Soul Calibur 3. And all of it is just so that he is arranging everything just so that he can die, as you say. He at least was a more interesting character in Soul Calibur 4 when he
Did you enjoy my dance?
decides that he can use his immortality. Yeah.
Battle 1. Fight!
It looks like I'm just too strong for you.
The 37 now.
Battle 1. Fight!
Did you enjoy my dance?
Essentially, they do kind of explain it, but it's all just a bunch of the swords are mystical spirit swords of enormous power mumbo jumbo. There's nothing that's more specific than that. the explosion of the power of their warring and the fact that even though they destroy each other, they still won't die until, for some reason, Soul Calibur V caused his spirit to be able to reclaim its form when he wanted to live again after seeing all of eternity or whatever.
Battle 1. Fight!
It's absurd how good this is at doing nothing but gaining life back, especially with this weapon.
Did you enjoy my dance?
Not the way the developers intended you to look at it, I'm sure. I really like what they do with this character in Soul Calibur 6, though, especially how involved he is in the story of the Libra of Souls character. The, what do they call the character again, so that they can have a generic name? The Conduit, he's called, yes.
Battle 1. Fight!
Be careful from now on.
It's kind of funny that even with all that I've done on this and done these levels, I never realized just how much experience actually... Back for a second. How much experience he did on this final level. Yeah, that's the point of it. You haven't missed much with 5. 5 did really weird things, and it's even more than Soul Calibur 3. It's thought of as the worst of the series. 4 was pretty good, but not quite as complete as 3 was. In some ways, 2 and 3 were very much the height of the entire franchise, which is why it was so difficult to get 6 made. Whoops. I forgot to start a combat there. That went so fast. Oh well. I don't even know who I'm on anymore. Kind of thought that. Okay. Yes, Sophitia's kids are the main two. And unlike every other fighting game, they didn't bother having a arcade mode story where each character got a victory ending, which is kind of nice. It is nice that the story had a conclusion and everything of its own and wasn't ambiguously left to whichever you choose. But considering all the new characters they added, which include, wow, well, so much for her reign of terror. That's how weak dancers are.
Battle 2. Fight!
But you have all these other new characters introduced, and because they have only minor importance in the story, you never really get to see what they're about or get any kind of real closure with them. They make brief cameos, but like Xianghua's daughter, the person who is supposed to be Keelik and Xianghua's actual son as well, and Taki's apprentice, who are all traveling around together, we get nothing out of them really in the meaning of the game. Zwei and Viola kind of make a mark, but after they pretty much went out and said that Viola was Amy in the future, we never really learned what happened to her or got to see how she ended up where she was. There is an arcade mode, but it doesn't have a standard arcade kind of ending like Soul Calibur 2 did, or even, you know, the Tales of the Souls ending. So you can play them, certainly. You could play them online too, but basically when they made Soul Calibur 5, they said, well, nobody's really going to care about anything but an online mode. So they didn't even have any, they just had arcade and a Legendary Souls Super Hard arcade. The one story that they made. And then,
Damn. I can't believe this.
that was my best hope of beating him, and I got trounced. This isn't good. But then they, yeah, the... and then online play. And so the only thing you could use your created characters in was in a basic arcade or in Legendary Souls or an online play.
Final battle.
And the storyline, you were pretty much just Patroclus for the entire time, except for a little bit when you were Pyrrha. Those just impacts. Well, that's just a regular guard impact. That was a just impact. Again. Yep. And they paid for it too, because Soul Calibur 5 was so poorly received and reviewed that Soul Calibur 6 almost didn't get off the ground. The developer had to beg and plead with Namco Bandai to give him a chance to create it. And if it didn't have good sales, it was definitely going to be the end of the Project Soul. Luckily, it has done well enough that they've now done a second season pass for downloadable characters and other bonuses added, and hopefully Soul Calibur 7 will be coming on its heels.
What? Impossible!
In another couple of years or so. Once you get an opportunity to play Soul Calibur 6, definitely give that a go. As much as Soul Calibur 3 remains my favorite, Soul Calibur 6 is worth the investment.
You really stand out too much. The people love you. Such an irritating sight to behold. But now, I regret not killing you myself when I had the chance.
Final battle. Fight.
Damn. I can't believe this.
I leveled up from losing. That's hilarious. Okay. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and try and get through it this time. So, I am going to do a couple of things. Going to go the more speedrun route here. I don't have all of her weapons. I have to go through and do that. Which would be better? Probably just go with the damage. Okay. Level for Athena. Hopefully everyone levels up but the main character. I'm actually going to go this way. Not quite as fast, but oops. Well, now I'm going to have to totally reorder them. Not that it's a big deal, especially since I'm not speedrunning. Oh, it's Shara though, so that's kind of bad. I'm likely to die here. That's going to foul up everything. Luckily she has a good weapon at least this time. Oh, blast. Woohoo! Slowly doing it. Oh, so close.
It can't be. I lost.
Well, that's going to slightly interfere with things. At least she gained a few levels here, and luckily she isn't super duper important for the final boss fight. Good. That's all four. Alright. Kind of bad, because she doesn't have any health restoration, but Mega's the one who I really want to rely on for actually beating Strife. Looks like it's going to be her again. Taking 4 per hit, too. That's not good. Because she's such a weak little dancer. Normally don't go this way because she has so many hit points to chew through when I use this strat for speedrunning. But I want to kill her to make sure to unlock the weapon available, the ultimate weapon available for Sword and Shield style. Good. Main character's the one I want taking most of the damage. Another level for Mega is good. More damage. Alright, Mega is necessary to be our hero. After that, it is... Next chance is going to be Michiko. If it's up down to Athena, we're probably doomed, but let's find out if we can... Mega should be able to do it.
Final battle. Fight!
That's a movie now. Enough with the grabs. What the? That shouldn't have come out the way when it did. Okay, that's bad. That is awful. My word.
I can't believe this.
He did not cooperate properly at all. Strife can do that though. Strife is absolutely. They did make him worthy of a final boss, but just with his stats, his AI is a top notch above. Usually, it's easy enough to cheese out with the katana, but sometimes he just decides, nope.
Final battle. Fight!
What? I was blocking. That shouldn't have hit me. Thank you so much for that. Yep, we're done here. Oh well, more experience. Experience is the main thing I need more than anything else. That'd be interesting to do. Most of them would be fighter types, but you could find a few special ones for some of them to be. Luckily, this is absurd. Alright. Dancer strats for the win. In case you didn't know, Dancer is the most... Soul of Xianghua is the most OP moveset in the game. That move in particular. Oh, just do it like they are in, Yeah, I could see that. Maybe Nightmare. I think Siegfried would be, better as a standard fighter. Halim would be some sort of, cleric archetype, probably. You'd need a, ninja kind of archetype for Taki, especially in the later games. They give her more ninja style sutra type attacks.
Emperor died.
Can't they? That's really weird. That must be a new 5th edition thing. I played a lot of 1st edition AD&D, actually, a little bit of 2nd edition stuff. I've some 3.5 Pathfinder style, but I've never played 5th edition, really. Just getting started on some of it.
The hardships. They rebuilt the razed villages and sowed new seeds upon the destroyed fields.
That was always the thing about fighters in every edition of D&D, was that they were the kind that could use pretty much every weapon. And then you had some exotic weapons, but they could still learn to use those easily because they had access to particular kinds of feats that would allow them to get it. I guess it makes sense that they try and make barbarians stand out a little bit more in other ways, though I don't know if that's strictly necessary. Available, Soul Calibur weapon available, Ambition available, Soul Edge available for Iron Sword, a new face available, another new face available, parts now available. Definitely save the gameplay data.
The legend will never die. Welcome to the new stage of history.
Hooray for emulator shenanigans. Let me get that out of the way. Okay, I need to... That's probably fine. Nope, that isn't the right one. Nope, this is the one. It'll do enough. Okay. Uh-oh, which weapon did I choose? I'm not even... Okay, second choice. First option both times, which is nice and easy.
Versus young
Default weapon. That's not great, but... Oh. Whoops. Mess that up. Spin to win.
You win.
I told you
Nope.
Two heroes finally meet.
That was a mistake. Oh well.
Welcome to the new stage.
I needed to select option 2, and I forgot what I was doing for a second there.
Welcome to the new stage of history.
So weird seeing that broken face on the emulator. Okay. After this fight, I need to not spam through. I need to select the second option.
Versus Young Sung. Fight. You win.
Okay.
Her desire to save her children from darkness. Versus
Anyone who has, just for variety, I might say that someone like Sophitia might be a more priest type, because she's supposed to have been blessed powers by the gods. Maybe make her a paladin even, possibly, to simulate that. But you'd have to look for characters like, there are a few that would be rogue types, ones like Taki and Setsuka, probably. Zasalamel would be some sort of caster. You could make him a sorcerer, most likely. A sorcerer variant would work for him. Because that's essentially what they call his mystic arts most of the time, is sorcery. But you could probably fit him into any kind of spellcaster class, just depends on the spells you wanted to give him. But characters like Talim definitely have mystic powers. For a connection to that, you give some sort of caster-based class.
Now it's my turn.
That would work very well thematically as well. Siegfried, a paladin, and yeah. Paladin versus Hell Knight would definitely fit thematically as well as there. Whoops. Okay, well this is fine. We need to spam 1-1 for those.
Revenant, fight.
Come on. Rock and Astaroth would be very good as barbarians.
How foolish of you to anger me.
Welcome. Let us celebrate your demise. You'd better make this worth my while.
Versus Raphael, fight. You win. Versus Son Mina, fight.
No! Darn it. That actually ruins everything.
You really did.
Welcome to the new stage of history.
That's the one fight where you can't ring anybody out, or else you can't go into the labyrinth to fight Ulcanem. Normally, if you're
Versus Young Sung, fight. You win.
oh darn it, not paying attention to what choices I need to make.
Of history.
Any kind of evil power infused character, yeah.
Are you
Versus
If you've got a
Young
good
Sung,
homebrew
fight.
for it that you could do. He'd be very appropriate to make a kind of homebrew specifically for him, I think.
You win.
you really did this to yourself?
Versus Sophitia, fight. You win.
I cannot allow anyone who knows about the sword to live.
Yeah, make some sort of,
To die.
or some kind of fiendish monster. Make some kind of demon variant of your own.
You're quicker than I thought. I was wrong about you.
Well, this is certainly a welcome. Now it's my turn.
Versus Zasalamel, fight. You win.
You really did this to your...
versus Revenant. Fight! You win!
I told you I won't hold back.
I'll go ahead and fight the bonus battle. Hopefully get some extra
Versus
money.
Xianghua. Fight!
Oh, that's right. This is messed up on the emulator. I'm glad that most of the game functions alright on the emulator. That's interesting.
How foolish of you to anger me. Welcome. Let us celebrate your demise. You'd better make this worth my while.
Versus Raphael. Fight! You win! Her quest to save her brethren drives her on.
I'm
Versus Son Mina. Fight!
There we go.
You win!
That'd definitely be an interesting, interesting D&D campaign for sure.
Versus Cervantes. Fight! You win!
I know I can do this. I won't give up.
We'll go ahead and go in.
Versus Unknown Soul. Fight! You win!
You really did.
Oh, darn. I accidentally backed out.
I'm impressed that you made it this far.
Oh, jeez.
Not bad. My dream is about to be realized. You, however, are not
Yeah,
worthy of
those are
witnessing
always interesting situations.
Leave this place at once.
I was going to try and beat Olkadan in Nightmare, but I backed out right before the end there. Oh well. Wanted to go ahead and unlock that since I was unlocking pretty much everything else anyway. Oh well. Main reason I'm doing this is to unlock
Impressive.
Xianghua's ultimate weapon for use with my dancer in the second round of that
Did not come
Chronicle of the
this
Souls.
way just to die here.
Chronicles of the Sword, rather. Souls and Swords and Swords and Souls, the two big obsessions of this game.
It's so powerful. I have to stop this thing.
Versus Abyss. Fight! You win!
I told you.
Sounds only appropriate.
Don't worry. I know you can do it.
Wait. Let me do this.
Yep, very true.
Hey, Keelik. Where do you want to go next?
Let's see. Well, I was thinking about heading back to my master.
Traveling together isn't bad either, don't you think?
Yeah, especially since you're such a good sparring partner.
There's someone I'm interested in.
Oh,
Keelik? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
huh? Yeah.
Oh, you're hopeless.
Sorry to keep you. Shall we get going? Shanghua? Are you asleep?
Just kidding. I'm not gonna give up on you that easily.
The legend will never die.
Yep. Okay. That's going to be it for the stream today. Next time I'll do this. Revenant unlock, Labyrinth unlock. I didn't go far enough to unlock Olkadan and Night Terror, which is what I wanted to. Oh well. That didn't give me... Well, I have to try again, apparently, because that didn't give me Shanghua's ultimate weapon. I must have one more I need to buy.
Hi there.
Thought I'd bought them all.
You looking for something?
Copus, there it is.
You have a
Yeah.
sharp eye.
They don't unlock all of them until you, for purchase until you've gone far enough in. Ultimate Rapier. It's a really good rapier. It's too bad I'm not good with the rapier style. But not Ultimate Lance in case I want to use that. Melondite is good, but I'd rather just use Full Edge quite often. Far. That one's that good. The other one's better. Okay.
You looking? Come again. Thanks a lot.
Alright. I'll go ahead and put this up here, and
Welcome.
next week I'll be working on this some more.
Are you looking for anything?
Go ahead and unlock...
Good speed
oops,
to you.
that's not what I
Please
want
come
to do.
again.
Finish unlocking Shanghua's ultimate weapon.
You looking for something? Come again. Thanks a lot.
Night Terror is not available as a playable character. You have to use a Game Shark
Are you looking for anything in particular?
program to enable that. And if you do, you can do such a thing. But, yeah, you have to use a cheat code from a Game Shark or something to make him a playable character. The one thing you can unlock with him is unlocking the Night Terror
Are you looking
bonus
for anything
game.
in particular? Good speed to you. Please come again.
No items I can unlock yet. I need to play the game more. So yeah, that's it for now. As I say, next week we'll finish up the first half of the thing. I'll only go far enough into the story to get each character that I have up to 50. Then I need to start a new game with brand new characters to unlock the rest. No, he cannot. At least not that I've ever seen. There might be a way to grant it as well, but I have actually every Nightmare weapon unlocked except for the Ancient and the Joke weapon. Those are the only two that are unlocked there. Otherwise, he has just these ones. The Larva looks a little bit like Night Terrors, but it's not quite the same. It's also, well, it's better than the basic one, of course. It does life drain and stuff, but that's pretty much it. So it's the Joke weapon and then the Olkadan version of the weapon are the only two that I haven't unlocked here. So unless there is, once again, a way to use cheat codes to give it, Yeah, Steel Paddle's pretty entertaining. His joke weapon is a giant squid, which is also entertaining. The joke weapons are great. I'm sad they don't use the joke weapons anymore, really, in the later Soul Caliburs. I miss all the weapons that were in Soul Calibur 2. That one had a lot of weapons, including a Soul Edge variant for every character. But again, that's all for me. Thanks for watching this far and tuning in. Hopefully I'll see you back later for more of my stuff.